So the court commission, can also be an instrument of mercy. They can remove, through retirement, any judge or justice that can no longer perform their duty due to a physical or mental disability. The Judicial Inquiry Board, which was also established in 1970, they can initiate and conduct investigations. They receive or initiate complaints concerning any member of the judiciary, and they can file complaints with the Illinois Courts Commission. And public opinion also has a say here. So in states with the election or retention elections of judges like Illinois, public opinion does influence judicial selection. So the partisan nature of the judiciary, the judicial philosophy of the judges, all comes into play. Now, it comes into play for those people who care to research a judge or justice before they cast a vote. And I have to admit that I have been guilty of not doing that myself. But, as I've said, and as I will continue to say, because it's just honest to God the truth, these guys at the state level, at the local level even more, influence our day-to-day lives and can affect us far more than the President of the United States, the U.S. Congress, the people just in D.C. generally ever could. We will feel what the governor does far more in our day-to-day lives than that of the president. So, do your research, know who your candidates are, and cast informed votes. So, selection and tenure. So the idea is, if you want an independent judiciary, a truly independent judiciary, you appoint judges for lifetime tenure. If you want an accountable judiciary, have them run for election and re-election or retention. It's the same thing. A re-election campaign for a judge is a retention election. Now, wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be just very nice? Almost, I'm having a utopian vision here. If we could have both an independent judiciary that is accountable. If we could figure out a way to do that. But I think we'd have to change human nature totally to make that happen. Okay. So, yeah, the states are divided between the two methods of selection. Some states appoint, others make the judges run for election and retention. Some states also have partisan elections and then retention elections. So again, partisan, you're voting for a Democrat or a Republican or an independent. Other states still have the legislature or executive appoint judges. There's no right way or wrong way to do it. It's just how states fancy making these choices. It's really, again, no right or wrong way. So partisan elections, you have 8 states here with the most judges through partisan elections. Nonpartisan, 13 states with the most judges. 5 states, some judges through partisan elections. 7 states, some judges through nonpartisan. In 4 states, the governor appoints judges without a nominating commission, but then makes them go through the legislature for approval. And in Illinois, we appointed judges through the legislature until 1848, our Constitution in 1848, when we decided it might be better to provide for the election of judges instead of legislative appointment. Now, what might be wrong with legislative appointment that we wanted to change? Well, whatever party had control of the chamber would appoint their judges. So if the Republicans had control of the legislature for 2 years, they'd stack the bench with Republican judges, same thing with Democrats. So that's a problem with appointments by legislature. So every state, though, determines the term of office, and it just varies widely. The re-election appointment method, they vary very widely. But most serve fixed terms, except for in Rhode Island. Judges there serve for life. Massachusetts and New Hampshire, they serve until they hit the age of 70. Don't ask me why. I think just these... I think it's just an arbitrary number. I mean, but a lot of older people are sharp until 75, until 80, 85, some their whole life. It's just a number. So we touched on merit selection, the process whereby, here's the formal definition, this would be on the test. The process whereby a nominating committee submits a list of names to the governor, who then selects the judge. And Missouri adopted this in 1940. It's referred to as the Missouri Plan. Half of the states use merit selection for some or all of their judges. No states using merit selection have gone back to election for judges. So that commends this plan as one that might be useful, might work well, or better than the rest. But again, it's just a matter of taste, opinion, what a state wants to do. So proposals for merit selection, or some form of appointment in Illinois, have been examined recently, and still being examined. This is just, again, the latest information that is available to me online. There were 2 races in 2004 for Supreme Court judge candidates in District 5. The Democrats spent that. The Republicans spent that. Mag versus Carmeier. Carmeier was the Chief Justice of the Illinois Supreme Court until Ann Burke took over for him. So, just crunching some numbers in my head here. That's about $9 million between the two of them. Might be a little too much to spend for an independent judiciary, an accountable judiciary. Certainly not both. The cost of elections is a topic in and of itself that you could certainly write a thesis on, because it's so astronomical. So socioeconomic status certainly goes into judicial decision-making. Well-connected politically and socially, these people are pretty well-to-do, typically. Judges have been historically male-dominated. I should say the judiciary has been historically male-dominated. And it's not at all representative of American population. Like in 2002, for instance, 22 of the 365 state Supreme Court justices were African American. 97 of them were women. That's terrible. I'm not saying that, if I've never used the term here, WASPs, white Anglo-Saxon Protestants, those men are incapable or don't know how to dispense justice properly, but a judiciary, a legislature, it might be more equitable for a judiciary to look more like the people of the country in terms of socioeconomic status, race, religion, etc., etc. Now, are we ever going to achieve perfect parity in that? If there's 15% of the country say, I'm just making this up, 15% of the country say is Catholic. Are we ever going to get 15% of the judiciary that's Catholic? No. But we can try. You know, that's just an opinion. You're free to disagree with it, but that's my 2 cents for what it's worth. So again, we come to judicial activism versus judicial restraint. And there's been a long-standing debate over judicial philosophy since the founding of our republic. And we will get into that in just a moment.